Perfect. All right, Ms. Jones-Brown, your next witness.
I'll call Deborah Wren.
Thank you. Good morning, madam. If you raise your right hand, please. Do you swear to tell the truth and the whole truth? Thank you. You may have a seat.
Good morning, ma'am. Could you introduce yourself to the jury?
Deborah Wren,
How do you spell your last name?
W-R-E-N.
Ma'am, how are you connected to this case?
I'm their grandmother.
Your Honor, may I approach the witness?
You may.
Do you recognize these photos?
It's Brice and Larry.
And are these photos you all gave us of the boys?
Yeah.
Your Honor, the Commonwealth moves to introduce 69 and 70.
No objection.
Admitted.
Okay. Which one's Reese?
That's Brice.
Okay. And obviously that's Larry.
Larry. Mhm.
And if you could, I know it's hard, can you tell the jury about Reese and Larry?
Brice and Larry were really good kids. They did good in school and they played sports and they were really good-natured boys. They never been in trouble. And they were very loving. They got along with everybody. They were well liked at school. Their teachers really thought a lot of them. They were involved in sports. They were just good boys.
In May of 2016, how old was Maurice?
16,
And how old was Larry?
14,
Did they usually hang out together?
always.
What school did they go to?
Homestead Academy.
Homestead. What neighborhood did they live in?
It's around the Beachmont area.
Is that in around Iroquois Park?
Yes, Iroquois Park area.
And how are you related to them?
I'm their grandmother.
Right? Are you their mother or father's mother?
My daughter is their mother.
Okay. And what's your daughter's name?
Elizabeth.
Who are their fathers?
Larry Ordway and Maurice Gordon.
So they were each a junior.
Yes.
And was your daughter involved in their lives?
Yes.
And were their fathers involved in their lives?
No.
At that time, was your daughter having a few issues?
Yes.
Okay, can you describe a little bit about what the home life was like?
She was just having a hard time, with just doing things and, trying to make ends meet and things of that nature.
Were there times when there wasn't enough food?
Yes.
At the time, did they have any siblings?
Yes.
And who is that?
Twanisha, their sister.
How old was she back then?
I'm going to say about 9 or 10.
Okay. How old is she now?
17.
And is there a new sibling that they would have met if they lived?
Larissa.
Larissa?
Mm-hmm.
And when was she born?
September the 22nd, 2017.
I don't have any other questions. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
For the defense?
I don't have any questions, ma'am.
Okay.
All right, Ms. Wren, you are free to step down. Thank you, ma'am. Next witness, please.
Yeah, the call calls Detective Officer Stephanie Spaulding.
Thank you. Hi, Officer Spalding, can you come on up? Have you raise your right hand, please? Do you swear to tell the truth and the whole truth?
I do not.
Thank you, officer. You can have a seat.
Good morning, ma'am. What is your name?
Stephanie Spalding,
Where do you work?
LMPD's 3rd Division,
How long have you been with LMPD?
since 2009.
And when you say the 3rd Division, is LMPD divided up into a number of divisions?
Yes, I apologize. We have 8 divisions and then several other specialty units, but now I'm in the 3rd.
And does each division cover a certain geographic area?
Yes,
At the time of May of 2016, where were you working?
in the homicide unit.
Were you aware on May 22nd of the case on River Park?
I'm not positive of my work schedule that particular day, but I did not respond to that particular scene.
And how many people were in the homicide unit back then, approximately?
Approximately 25 to 30.
Okay. And how do you all divide up responsibilities?
As a new case is called in or we're notified, then that particular detective would then take that case and we would fall in line right behind them.
So is there a rotation and
Yeah.
just your day, that's the case you get?
Yes, and we would often help others, but we may or may not be available to respond to every single scene.
So on May 22nd, when was the case assigned to Detective Tonelli? The case on River Park?
According to the case records, yes.
Yeah. So obviously, not all 25 detectives rushed to River Park, right?
Correct.
Because everybody has their own cases. Okay. But did you all help each other as needed on cases?
Yes, we did.
So at some point, were you asked to do some things on this case?
Yes.
And what was your first role in this case?
My first role was actually on May 24th. So it was a few days later, and I was working in the homicide unit at the time in the office, and I did take a phone call from JCPS.
And what were you directed to respond to a certain school?
Yes, I was asked to go to Olmsted North in regards to an assistant principal who wanted to speak with us more in depth about the 2 young victims.
And at that time, prior to this phone call, did you all have an identity for the victims?
No.
And did Olmsted give you names of children that they thought it might be?
Yes.
How did LMPD put out information about the children?
There were sketches that were released to the media of the 2 victims.
Okay. And why sketches and not photos?
We were unable to identify them, and it would have been too difficult for anyone to have to see those things.
The actual photos of.
Yes, I'm sorry. The photo.
So after you responded to Olmsted North, did you then have an identity of the children? A possible identity?
Yes, we did, and then we went to the address of that was provided to us.
Who did you meet at the address?
I was with another detective who then interviewed their mother.
The mother of the children?
Yes.
Okay. After that, did you all get information that led you to another address?
Yes, and at some point during that day, again, we do go to several different scenes and help detectives on various things, that I went to Haight Avenue.
And who did you understand that address to belong to?
Brice Rhodes.
Okay. What did you do at Haight Avenue?
First, I was sent there to keep it as a secure location to make sure nobody came in or out of it while a search warrant was being written, so I remained outside of the building.
Was the search warrant completed?
Yes.
And did you all go into an apartment?
Yes, we did.
Do you recall the address?
May I reference the letters?
If there's no, yes.
Okay, thank you. The address,
Yes.
763 North Haight Avenue, number 2.
Do you recall the layout of the building 763?
Yes.
How many units are inside of it approximately?
So it's a building of, I believe 4, if it was only 2 stories. So you go in and into a main doorway, where then you go downstairs for the units 1 and 2, or you can come back up and go to the upstairs for units 3 and 4.
And what type of apartment complex was it?
It was a gated condo type townhome community.
And were there lots of other units sharing a parking lot?
Yes, maybe 15 to 20 buildings or so.
Okay. At the time that the